Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. This is Game Day Live. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Vinny Parisi of Pucks and Pitchforks blog up in Chicago. Devils taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh, Vinny. On the road for the first time. We're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Vinny, lots of news going on. Where should we start first?
Yeah, well, I think when you play a road game in Pittsburgh, you always look to the opponent. That's been one of the tougher places to play for the last 10 to 15 years. Of course, they won a couple Stanley Cups around their core. And when you think of the Pittsburgh Penguins over the last 20 years, it's Sidney Crosby. And he missed the start of this season due to a wrist injury. And he's finally back. And, the league is better for it. There were some people on Twitter earlier today saying, oh, of course he comes back when they play the Devils. That's just our luck. And it's kind of true. But, Sidney Crosby is one of the best players ever. I'm excited to see him back. He's probably going to be awesome right away because he's Sidney Crosby. And the Devils need to contain him. But, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So it's good to see Sid back in there. And hopefully the Devils can, shut him down a little bit.
Oh, was it the Devils' social media account that Weinick complained about it? I forgot where I saw it, but people are like, oh, of course he comes back. When look, it's not like this is Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals where, I'd be kind of pissed. This is like Game 6 start of the 2021-22 regular NHL regular season. I'm not that mad over it. Be honest with you, I think it's good for the Devils to see where they stand, and see where the Penguins are in the Metropolitan Division, which is probably the toughest division, I think, in the NHL, just because the teams are so evenly matched. You've got your Titans, the Capitals, the Penguins that are perennial winners, but are starting to age. And then you've got the Islanders that are surging, the Rangers, Devils, Flyers, lots of talent, plus the BJs, who the Devils play tomorrow at Prudential Center, where we'll be at Taj Lounge 973 for that home game, for that Halloween live podcast, Game Day Live. This is a big test this weekend for the Devils. They're well-rested New Jersey Devils. Right now we're at Pasta Grill at Enzo's in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey. Some people call it Mansfield. I call it Hackettstown. I don't know. It's that like that Taylor ham pork roll thing. But anyway, we're here right now because it's going to be a future place for watch parties, and we're just trying it out, trying out the pasta, all that kind of stuff. Food's coming in about 5 minutes, Vinny. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Not to get off track, but I'm not worried about Crosby playing. I want to see the Devils crush them, and that would be pretty nice and get their confidence going into Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, it lined up for Crosby to coming back in this game no matter who they were playing. It's a home game Saturday night. Pittsburgh's going to be going wild. Everyone loves to see Sid. I know there are some people who don't like Crosby. I'm actually, aside from being a Devils fan, a big Sidney Crosby fan. I've found myself watching lots of Penguins games over the last 10 years and rooting for them when they're not playing the Devils, obviously. And I got nothing but love and respect for them. So, and it's, whether people want to admit it or not, it was the team for a long time the Devils were trying to emulate. So we'll see what happens in this game. But yeah, it's good to see Sid back. As far as the Blue Jackets, that's going to be a tough test in a back-to-back, going from Pittsburgh to the Blue Jackets in New Jersey. It's going to be fun, though. And the Devils are going to learn a lot about themselves over the next couple weeks. And if they can tread water while Jack Hughes is out, I know we're going to get to that in a minute. While he's out, if they could tread water, I think they'll be in all right shape.
Yeah, getting back on Sidney Crosby, let's put it this way. We, as fans, threw everything at him. We really did. I remember back when I was playing hockey, towards the end of before I stopped, Sidney Crosby was only like 14 years old, and he already had like his own product line. There was a Crosby curve, out. I believe it was it with the Easton? I don't remember, but I remember there was a Crosby curve. It's like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? That's when the old Easton Synergy sticks were like the thing. Like it was like
Yeah.
the first $300 hockey stick, one piece graphite or whatever it's made of. And but he came into the league. He whined and complained. I've witnessed it, but he's one of those players, and I've said this numerous times. You got to respect, as a hockey fan, you got to respect how ruthless he is. It is very difficult to maintain such a high level, elite player through injuries. Remember the concussions and all that. I mean, we do remember some of the good moments in his career when he scored that penalty shot, in the Winter Classic, the first Winter Classic against Buffalo, and remember it was snowing and all that kind of stuff. He has done nothing to hurt the Shield, the NHL Shield. Unlike some people in the news recently, but you got to respect that. That's all. I don't like
Yeah,
him
there's no
when he
doubt
plays
about it.
against Devils, but
There's,
you got to respect him.
of course, I completely agree. I mean, his whole life he's been a superstar. He was, one of the best prospects ever. And when you're that good, it's easy to let it get to your head. It really hasn't been the case for Crosby. He knows he's good. Everybody knows he's good. But what I kind of like about Sid, when you watch McDavid or when you watch old videos of Bobby Orr or Wayne Gretzky, there's a lot of finesse. There's a lot of thinking the game. They're some of the greatest players ever because of their brains and their skating ability. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby has all that too. There's no doubt about it. He's certainly not a bad skater. He's a great skater. He's one of the best skaters ever. He's got one of the best brains ever. But what kind of separates Crosby from me from some of the other superstars that we've seen over the years, besides maybe McDavid, is I think Mike Rupp one time on NHL Network called him a superstar grinder. And we kind of had that
Mm-hmm.
with Zach Parise for a long time, where it's like they get a lot of points because they work hard in front of the net and they win 50-50 battles in the corners. And they take that and combine it with superstar skill. So it's like if you were to
Yeah.
take Connor McDavid and Miles Wood and mix them together. You know what I mean? So, and Crosby's made a whole career out of that, using his edge work and using his booty to keep people from getting the pucks and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's just been so evident throughout his career. And you admire watching a guy play like that and watching him, he had those injuries for a while. Seeing him get back, and he was whiny when he first came in, and you still see it every now
He's
and then, but
still
it's
whining.
gotten more rare. Yeah, it's gotten a little more rare
I'll
as the
tell you,
times have gone on, but
he is ruthless and relentless with the referees. If you ever
yep.
watch Sidney Crosby, I've sat behind the Pittsburgh bench a few times when he played against the Devils. He is it is constant, like keeps pounding at the refs to the point where they just will give him a freebie, which we all hate, or give him a free pass, which we hate, just because he just whined and complained. He does whatever it takes to win. And I think that's what gets confused, where everyone's like, oh, he's a whiner. The players even have said he's a whiner. But he does what he needs to do to win. And I'd like to see that, not in Sidney Crosby form, but I'd like to see that out of our players. Now, also in the news yesterday, Jack Hughes going to be out for 5 more weeks. That was kind of expected with the kind of injury that he had, but at the same time, no surgery needed. The shoulder is stable, and you have to be careful with these with dislocated shoulders. From what I understand, friends that played football years ago, played hockey, that you don't want it to happen again, but if it does, it's going to be a very, very, very long time, because if it happens again and it comes back too soon, it's going to happen 20 times before the season's over. I mean, you just don't get better. But apparently he's doing the rehab right now.
Yeah, and so, like I said earlier, tread water while he's gone. You need more from Nico. You need more from McLeod. You need more from Mercer. Whoever's playing center, it'd be nice to see Zaka and Bratt really start scoring. I've liked Tatar's game. Obviously, Sharon Govich and Kuokkanen are going to get it going. Nobody's worried about them yet. It's going to be scoring by committee and, just continue to defend well. I think they have more pieces on the back end that should help them create offense in Hughes's absence. But when he comes back, it would be nice to see him be fully healthy. I have also heard that shoulders can be tricky, and they're lucky that it isn't the extent of what it could have been based on some other NHL players dealing with shoulder separation. You don't want him to turn into Vladimir Tarasenko, who was one of the very best players in the NHL for a long time, and then he started dealing with some of these shoulder injuries, and we haven't seen the same Tarasenko. He's playing well so far this season, but it's been a while. Even going back to the year they won the Stanley Cup. So you don't want to see that become Jack. We want to see him back around mid-December healthy and ready to go by Christmas, and maybe even a little earlier than that. And maybe by that point they could go on a run. If a good team adds Jack Hughes in early December, I think they'll really be happy with the way this has gone so far.
And Devils fans, you have to understand, and I'm going to try to put not so much. I'm putting a positive spin on it, not because we're a pro Devils podcast, because we do talk about hard issues, but it has been a pleasure and a privilege to see Dawson Mercer blossom, and for him to now we know is probably going to get Jack Hughes minutes in situations because he's out, and moving up on that second line where Hughes basically Hughes' spot. We're gonna get something out of it. You're not replacing Jack Hughes, but you're speeding up the maturation process with Dawson Mercer because now the Devils need him to perform. What are your thoughts? I mean, not to I want Jack Hughes in, but I think Dawson Mercer could be really a number one center on any team one day, but somehow he's behind Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes.
Yeah, and that's crazy. You can't just rely on the lottery. Like, getting Nico and Jack was awesome. There's no doubt about it. That really helped elevate the Devils' future and their plans and all that. But when you win the lottery, it's like, yeah, of course you're going to hit on those guys most of the time. Um, Outside of that, you need to hit on your other first round picks. Well, Dawson Mercer was like a mid first round pick. You got to do well with that. It's the same thing with Ty Smith, and you got to hit on your later round picks every now and then. You got to find a Yegor Sharangovich. You got to find a Jesper Bratt. Well, Dawson Mercer is really helping them take that step in terms of good first round talent that's not a number one overall pick, because it was a struggle there for a while. It took Zaka a long time to find his game. It took McLeod a while to find his game where it should be.
Ooh,
So, we got a little
thank
food
you.
delivery. Oh
Oh,
boy.
we got
Oh
food
boy.
here at
The
Pasta
podcast
Grill
just took
at
a major turn.
Enzo's. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. So this is on the menu today. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Facebook
That
Live. Do
looks
you know
like
what this is?
that looks, I could spoil it for Facebook Live if you want me to, because I know exactly what that is.
That's because, in full disclosure, I did tell you before we got on. What
That's
is
true.
it,
Now
Vinny?
I remember you saying that. That is a delicious looking crab cake. Wow.
Yes, a lump crab cake here at Pasta Grill at Enzo's off of Route 57 in Hackettstown, Mansfield. And this smells delicious. It's yummy. I'm going to be eating it. And, oh, you're Italian, right, Vinny? Just want to make sure.
100%. 100%.
100%. Now, as an Italian American from Chicago, and would you ever think that Northwest Jersey can produce this type of pasta, penne bolognese, homemade? Everything is homemade from scratch. Does that make you hungry?
Honestly,
It makes me hungry.
it wouldn't be on my radar to just think Northwest Jersey for the prime Italian cuisine. But once you say it and once you show me in person, I'm not too surprised, to be honest with you, because the East Coast does their Italian food very well. That's well known. The name Tony stands for to New York, so I truly believe it's a good place to get your Italian food. So I'll be
Well,
over there at Pasta Grill at Enzo's
his
at some
name is
point with you.
Dino. The owner, his
Dino,
name
I
is
like that.
Dino. Dino is a big friend of the podcast. I'll tell you the reason why. And this is what we're going to be doing, and everyone listen up. We're going to restaurants/bars who've been hurt, with the pandemic and everything. As things are reopening, and we're going to do this safely, we're going around. Whoever is a New Jersey Devils fan, like Dino, he's got autographed jersey hanging at his bar. He's got Stanley Cup stuff all over the place. We're going to go to your restaurant/bar and enjoy your food like Dino's here at Pasta Grill at Enzo's. Because there's a Devils fan at Cocoa Beach that wants me to try the fish tacos down in Florida, which we'll get to in a sec, because that may just happen. I just got to find where this place is and put it on, the road trip map and go. But hey, you know what? If you're in Hackettstown in Northwest Jersey and beautiful Warren County, you got to try this. This is homemade from scratch pasta, and the best thing of all, they've got a liquor license, and they are New Jersey Devils fans here. So just got to plug. I
That
truly
sounds like
love
the
this
most
place.
delightful fan experience before a game, or even if it's a road game and you just want some quick Italian food. There's nothing like a little pasta bolognese with some crab cakes and maybe a nice shot of brown liquor or whatever you're into from the bar right before the Devils game. That's fantastic. I'm jealous of you right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, now Mike Rossi's out here. If you're going to come down in the Raleigh area, I could show you around some great places. Yes, Raleigh. It's really Raleigh, New Jersey. Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know if you know this, Vinny. It's basically North Jersey South, if that makes sense. Everybody from Jersey basically goes there to basically better quality of life, standard of living, and basically they bring their Jersey down to Raleigh, North Carolina, because when I went to the Canes Devils game down there, let me tell you, there were a lot of Devils fans there, and they were enjoying life. And people that I used to have season tickets with are suddenly working for the Canes. I don't get it, but hey, you know what? To each their own. That's great. They're still Devils fans, but hey, you know what? Raleigh, North Carolina. That would be on our trip. Also, Nate says do a show at Columbia in Montville. Yeah, we're going to take requests, but right now we're at Pasta Grill at Enzo's. Thank you, Nate. And also, I don't know if we should now. We're going to have a big announcement on the Wednesday night podcast. There's a Florida trip brewing. And Vinny, I don't want to give out details, but you're a trustworthy guy on pucksandpitchforks.com. It's pretty cool, right? What we're going to be doing in Florida.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. If you're a Devils fan and you enjoy Devils related programming and discussion and everything that the Let's Go Devils podcast network provides you with, then you're going to want to tune in on Wednesday night to hear this news because, man, I'm excited. I know Nick Villano, our great editor at Pucks and Pitchforks, is super excited. I know you're excited, and everybody who's
I'm excited.
affiliated with the brand should be excited because, man, this is awesome. I highly recommend everybody tune in and get your excited caps on for Wednesday night. It's going to be a good time letting the world know what's going on. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, and the guy that owns the bar at Cocoa Beach that has the fish tacos, if you're listening right now, get in contact with me because I got to find where that place. I'm just adding restaurants to the list. Apparently, he's got Devils memorabilia in Florida at his own bar. He owns his bar, apparently, and he's got Devils stuff all over the place. That's where we're going. If you're a true Devils fan and own an establishment and you're a cool person, we'll go there and eat. And
That
this
sounds
is what
amazing.
we're
I mean, that's
eating.
your favorite things in
Quality
the world.
food. Quality food. I trust our fellow Devils fans. They know how to cook. Remember the old tailgates at the Meadowlands. They know how to cook. All right, so let's get back to the game at hand. Devils Pittsburgh, Metropolitan Division rivalry game, Game 6. We talked about Dawson Mercer. We talked about down the middle of Heischer, Hughes, and Mercer once Hughes comes back, and the team being built very similar to Pittsburgh. Ray Shero, Tom Fitzgerald. Now Tom Fitzgerald is the Devils GM. One day they will compare Crosby, Malkin, and Stahl to Heischer, Hughes, and Mercer. The way things are going right now, Vinny, I think I think the Devils, in the end, may have the better trio of centers down the middle. May. Crosby
Yeah,
and Malkin are tough, but Mercer, I tell you, Mercer and Hughes, they are looking good. And go ahead.
yeah. If Nico Hischier became like Jordan Stahl, where he was just like this awesome third line center, plays a good 2-way game. Ryan Nugent Hopkins comes to mind too, playing behind McDavid and Draisaitl. Like I think that's a comparable trio of centers as well. Um, yeah, I mean Crosby to me is a top 5 player ever, and Malkin to me is a top 25 player ever. So if the Devils trio reaches that plateau, then I believe we're really talking about Stanley Cups and, maybe a scoring title, a Selke trophy, all the things that come along with being that elite level center talent. So,
Mhm.
hey, I love the optimism. You heard Chico Resch on this show 1 week ago today say that he thinks Dawson Mercer is going to go on to be one of the great 2-way centermen the Devils have ever had. And this is a guy who's watched, Travis Zajac in his prime, and wasn't McLean a center too, a real good one. John Madden was a real good Selke type center. So, this guy's seen it all, and he's saying that Dawson Mercer is like going to be on that
Well,
level.
Dawson Mercer,
Okay, Chico.
have you noticed that Dawson Mercer, he has a way of picking your pocket? The way
Yes.
when
Yeah.
he, especially when he's forechecking, and somehow because he's lanky, he's able to get his stick in an area where he disrupts the opposing player, and suddenly Mercer's got the puck. I've noticed that probably, I don't know, 24 times already in his young career, where he's just picking pockets like no other. That he is dangerous defensively on the ice.
Yes. And can you think of a former Detroit Red Wings centerman from Russia that was often really good at picking people's pockets and turning it into offense the other way for maybe one of his Swedish wingers going down the ice or something like that? He was real good at
Mm.
using his hands to make plays both offensively and defensively. Does anybody come to mind to you?
And was he a late round pick, like really late round pick? And how did they get him that late?
Yes, and his Swedish running mate was also of the same nature in terms of his draft status. Very late round pick. Yeah, of course. If you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about Pavel Datsuk, and I'm not saying Mercer has Datsuk's hands or ability to shoot after deking out as a Dano Chara to make him fall, but who knows? Maybe it could lead to that someday. Or if he plays even 85% of the defensive game, leading transitioning to offense, then they got a really good player, a really really good player.
I see this on Twitter at Backhanded Devil. He does a lot of photoshops. This
Oh
is
yeah,
funny.
love that account.
Yes. This is missing Miles Wood,
Oh,
Milk. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
this is pretty funny. This is really funny.
it's very funny.
Where is
And
Miles Wood?
I wonder if like people younger than me, I'm 26, so I'm certainly not old by any means, but do people even get that joke anymore? Because like there's no milk cartons with missing people on them anymore. But I think if you're like a sports fan, that joke will never die because it's just always funny.
Never
So
die.
Miles
Yeah.
Wood, I have no idea what's going on with him. It went from, yeah, he may play by game 2, 3. Yeah, here's a setback. Well, a lot of people are mad that the Devils are about to play just their sixth game tonight, while Anaheim has already played 9, and there are a bunch of other teams with 8. But it's a blessing in disguise in a way, because Miles Wood would have missed 9 games by now instead of just 6. So we'll see when he comes back. But it's certainly confusing. I did not expect it to linger this long. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, and also congratulations to Erica Wachter. She put a picture. She is also now on NHL
Outstanding.
Network.
Yep.
So she's doing very well there. And wow, her first assignment was the whole thing in Chicago, let's just
Yep.
say. And I thought she presented it so well. Her first day, that's what she had to report on. And I thought she was outstanding. And I feel like she's one of ours. One of ours.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I covered it for the website, Fansided, and I covered it through my Chicago podcast throughout the weekend. My reach isn't even an eighth of her reach on NHL Network, and to see the way that she eloquently did it, and knowing myself how hard it is to talk about that kind of stuff, about people that you used to admire and people that you used to see as successful and great,
Oh
not just
yeah.
great, like all time great. It
Yep.
hurts as just a hockey fan. You don't even have to be a Blackhawks fan. You're just a hockey fan in general. And you hope that someone like Erica can really spread positivity throughout the hockey community. She's doing a great job. I couldn't be more proud
Yeah.
to see like how far she's come since replacing Deb Placey, who was with MSG for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations to Erica, friend of the podcast. I consider her a friend of the podcast. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we're going. It's almost 6:30 p.m. right now. A couple things. We got to go over predictions, Vinny. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough game to call. What do you think the Devils are going to do?
Yeah, I'm never going to come on this show and just be like, I think the Devils are going to lose. That's just not in my nature. I always want them to win at all costs. And sometimes Mr. Positivity lingers a little too much. By February and March, people are tired of me. But right now, we're just going to stick with the positivity. I do believe Sidney Crosby is going to have a great game. A guy like that comes back and doesn't miss a beat. You know, he's been working hard in practice. They put those videos on Twitter of him skating around and doing the hard drills and the stop and go stuff. He looks better than ever. I always have faith in Sid. I always will. I think he'll have a point or two. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give the Devils an overtime 3-2 victory.
Mmm. I just had a lump crab cake. It's delicious. So,
Mouth watering.
our podcast. Our podcast. We eat lobster tails, pre gaming, catfish, crab cakes, some
There's
penne.
one issue with that dish. There's one issue with that dish. Last week you ate pasta with delicious looking lobster on top, and then the guy whose last name in Italian translates to eat pasta, of course talking about mangiapane, that translates to eat pasta in Italian. Not a lot of people know that. He goes out and has a hat
Wow.
trick against the Devils. So I kind of put that
Oh,
blame on us for both being pasta guys last weekend. But we're not
yeah.
playing against the guy whose nickname or whose name translates
All
to eat
right.
pasta anymore. So
All right. So put that on the superstitious list. Anytime you play the Capitals and you play that guy, no carbs, no pasta.
no
We got to put that on
Coca-Cola,
the back
no
burner.
Dr. Pepper.
And yeah, and don't worry, Pasta Grill has more than just pasta here. So you can still come here and eat. You just can't eat those items. And if there's something with pasta in the item that you want to order, just say, no, hold the pasta, put it in the fridge. We'll come back the next day. Devils just need to win first. They'll understand. They're Devils fans. Not a big deal. Okay? Not a big
Yep.
deal. My thoughts somehow over the last 10 years, the Devils always have Pittsburgh's number. Maybe
It's
it's
weird.
because they're kind of emulating them, right? Maybe it's because
Yep.
Tommy Fitz and Ray Shero of the past were basically siphoning their pipeline. We grabbed their AHL coach, who's now, I believe, in Nashville. Some like a Ben Lovejoy and others have come on board. I think this is no different. I think they're going to see Dawson Mercer at his best. I think they're going to see good goaltending tonight. I think it's going to be a 2-1 game, Devils, in regulation. That's what I think. I'm going to stick to it. That's a very bold prediction. But hey, you know what? We'll see. And if that happens, guess what? Crab cakes and penne pasta, bolognese for everybody.
I love the sound of that. You nailed it on the head. They have had Pittsburgh. Evgeny Malkin called the Prudential Center the hardest building to play in. He was the only player in the NHL that voted for the Prudential Center. A freaking Evgeny
It's
Malkin,
because
one
of
of the
us
best players
fans.
ever. Yeah, that might be.
Because of us fans. Actually, there was one time, when I was, bothering Sidney Crosby, I was actually in the Marty gear. I actually have video of this. This is back in '07. I think I freaked out Malkin badly because I started doing jumping jacks with my Marty Brodeur goalie gear behind the Pittsburgh bench while a New York Times reporter was interviewing me. I swear to you, it's true. And there's
That's
actually an
amazing.
article out there, and I gave her the name Marty Wu, and it got printed. And Marty Wu from Essex County, New Jersey. That story's legendary. If you don't believe me, just Google it. 2007, Martin Brodeur, something like that, and you'll see that. Also, want to thank David Decker. I didn't do a podcast yesterday. No Woo Report. David Decker, the great salesman he is, sold us a brand new Toyota at Town Toyota this morning. Doing that. It's very hard to get a car right now. Thank you, David Decker. Big Devils fans. Hey, if you're a New Jersey Devils fan and you've got some business and you're cool and all that, we're going to spread the love. Because so many people have spread the love about this Game Day Live, Devils After Dark, which will be after the game tonight. Scotty and I, Taj Lounge 97.3, everybody, people that spread the love of the Let's Go Devils podcast, we take care of each other. We want to make sure that, just like Pasta Grill at Enzo's, which is a future home of Warren County's Let's Go Devils podcast watch parties. So we're just testing things out right now, testing the food to make sure it's good for you.
Yeah, you looked like you did a good
Is that a
job
good plug?
testing that food. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I think you did a great job. Shout out David Decker. Everybody knows who that guy is. He's fun people, so hopefully he gets to see his team come out with a big dub tonight after selling Sam Wu a car.
Yeah, it's not very hard to sell me a car. I'm a pretty harsh negotiator. I went in knowing that it's a losing battle, and it turned out my wife came through. In the end there, she's like, I want this or I leave. And guess what? They gave it to her, and I wound up being the loser of the negotiation.
There you go. Hey, at least one of the two wins. You guys are a team. You signed up to be a team.
Yeah.
So when one of you wins, you
absolutely.
both win.
Yeah, we both win. We always win if we visit David Decker at Town Toyota, which, by the way, I'm not being endorsed by this yet, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, Vinny.
Yeah.
Well, big game tonight. After the game, we've got Devils After Dark. Scotty and I. Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal. And tomorrow we have Game Day Live at Taj Lounge 973. 5 p.m. start the game. So expect around 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing Game Day Live at Taj Lounge 973. Last home game before the Devils go out on the Western trip. Halloween as well. If I have time to get to the store. I don't know if there's any Party Cities around. I was hoping to get a New York Rangers piñata full of candy at the bar, but I can't find. It's hard to find anything. It's hard to find anything nowadays. You know that, Vinny? It's just hard to find anything.
It's tough.
But there's always pasta here at Pasta Grill at Enzo's in Hackettstown. Ask for Dino. Tell him you're a big fan of the Let's Go Devils podcast. Future home of watch parties in beautiful Warren County. Vinny, thank you very much. Dropping the podcast in 20 minutes. Enjoy the game. This is Game Day Live. Till next time, let's go Devils.